Now, resistance training looks complex, looks complicated, and that tends to turn people off. But it doesn't have to be. Again, let's stop looking at the extreme expressions of resistance training, and let's just focus on what the average person should do to reap the benefits of resistance training, maximize the few hours a week that they think they can dedicate to exercise. Let's just focus on that for a second.
So when you say that, I'm thinking
primal movement patterns.
Yeah, the most functional things, the things that it doesn't matter if you want to look a certain way or build X amount of muscle. There's certain movements that you are going to use, that we all are going to use as humans in our daily practices, no matter what they are, that you want to either improve on or stay good at as you age, right?
Mm-hmm. And not only that, but these exercises or movements that we're about to talk about, the exercises that work on these type of movements also, which is kind of cool, give you the most bang for your buck, which is really cool. So not only are these the following basic human movements and exercises that you need to work on, the ones that you need to work on if you only have a certain amount of time, they're also the ones that give you the best results, which is cool. You get that double whammy. I'm doing the stuff that's going to benefit me most in the real world, but it's also going to give me the best, fastest results, which is cool because what we're going to do right now is we're basically going to cut out all the nonsense. We're going to make it super simple for you and cut out all the fluff. You're not going to have to worry about 99% or maybe even 100% of the machines in your gym. You're not going to have to worry about them. You're not even going to have to worry about necessarily barbells because you could do all these movements with dumbbells. Very, very basic. And if you stuck to this, you would build a very healthy, fit physique. You're not going to look like a physique competitor. You're not going to, have big bulging muscles. That's a different podcast. We could talk about that later. But this will get you all the wonderful benefits of resistance training that we talked about earlier.
We're going to lay out the foundation.
That's it.
To build off of.
That's it. So the first thing is very basic human movement, picking things up off the floor.
Now, it's funny, you start with this one, and I can't help but think of the post that I saw we were tagged in the other day of somebody that was trying to make the case that deadlifting was a worthless exercise.
I've seen this pop up all over the place, and it's hilarious to me because when do you not pick something off the ground?
Yeah.
That happens to everybody.
Right.
It doesn't
So you're trying to tell me that's not a basic, foundational movement that I'm going to experience almost on a daily basis.
And most people don't do it.
And they don't do it with correct form.
Yeah, they don't do it properly.
No, we've all been taught how to lift properly, or you at least have seen how to lift things up off the floor properly. Well, a deadlift trains that. That's all it does. It trains you how to lift things up off the ground properly, and in doing so, you strengthen your entire body. Now, I know why they made that post. It's because of the extreme expressions of deadlifts and people get injuries.
Right.
Well, yeah, okay, again, you're not going to be in the gym deadlifting 500 pounds. Don't worry about that. By the way,
people can take it too far. I mean, that's obvious. You see that. And again, back to your huge muscle-bound bodybuilder kind of standard. That's something that's totally extreme. And so we're just talking about doing this for basic human fundamentals.
Well, we talk about this a lot on the show, and I think you guys would agree with me that most of the clients that I had that had some sort of a crazy injury happen to them, it was never lifting 500 pounds. It was always doing the most basic, fundamental type of movements, reaching over to pick up a shampoo bottle in their shower. Picking a weed out of their garden, reaching back to give their kid food in the back seat or something. It's always this really basic movement that isn't a lot of weight, but it's just that they have lost that movement pattern or the connection to that movement pattern, and that's all it takes is being weak and moving out of their
They
range of
slip,
motion.
they react wrong, they can't balance properly, boom, injury.
That's right. So picking things up, deadlift. Deadlifts are phenomenal. You could do these with barbells. You could also do versions with dumbbells. Dumbbells, it looks almost like a squat holding dumbbells at your sides. But the idea is you're mimicking picking something off the floor. You're doing it with a braced core. There's lots of videos on how to do this right. We have quite a few on our YouTube channel. You can watch those. But it's definitely an exercise you should incorporate in your workout routine. Should be some form of a deadlift. It's a fundamental move. And here's the cool thing about it. It really develops a nice looking body. It works the whole posterior chain, which is a fancy term that means the back of your body.
Right.
So your back muscles, your butt muscles, your hamstrings.
Which I would argue is the most difficult to teach clients, like how to properly activate, because we're just so conscious of what's in front of us all the time that to take that time to really be conscious, to connect to the back of your body is that's a whole skill in itself.
Well, again, this is why that movement is so important, because it's the other half of you that is extremely
Right. Don't ignore it.
Yeah, that's extremely responsible for a majority of the movements or the strengths that you need to pick up a couch or to pick something up off the floor.
Or your kids.
Yeah, and we just don't use it. Most people round their back over and bend at the knee and they just grab and pick up, versus hinging at the hips and keeping a good stable spine and supporting themselves through that movement. And that's just it. You don't need to do it with, like Sal said, 300, 500 pounds. Just getting the pattern and the movement down so you know how to engage the proper muscles is going to do wonders for somebody. So you don't have to be lifting crazy loads. You do something really, really light and basic to learn the movement first and learn how to use those supporting muscles for when you do basic movements.
Yes,
like
and I'm going to preface everything by saying this is all appropriately applied. Everything we're about to talk about right now is applied appropriately. If you apply any exercise or movement inappropriately to your body, then your chance or risk of injury goes through the roof. When you're doing something appropriately, no risk of injury. You're doing it appropriately. That's the point. It's funny, we're talking about deadlifts. Back in the day, Doug, our producer, was my client, actually hired me. Do you know why he hired me? Because he had a bad back. He actually hired me because he kept hurting his back, and his chiropractor sent him to me. You know, it was part of his routine on a almost consistent basis. Deadlifts.
Yeah.
Deadlifts. Doug got to the point where he could deadlift over 400 pounds at a body weight. It was like 160 pounds or something like that. His back is comparatively now bulletproof compared to what it was before, where it would just hurt. He would just wake up and his back would hurt. So for people who are saying, oh no, that's bad for your back, that is totally incorrect. Doing a proper deadlift or versions of deadlifts in your routine is a great way to produce a bulletproof back. And back injuries are the most common types of injuries.
And the fact that it is a challenging movement, it leaves us lots of room to have to practice at it to get good at it, which is a good thing for somebody who also would like to burn body fat. Because it's a more complex movement, more joints are involved. It's going to take a lot of practice at the skill before you perfect it. Matter of fact, you may spend years and years of lifting it before you get perfect at it. That's a good thing for somebody who's trying to see progression and change in their body, or that wants to lose body fat.
Yeah.
If you do something like a standing bicep curl, the very first couple times you do it, sure, you burn some good calories. Yeah, you're going to stimulate and build a little bit of muscle. But the body will adapt and figure that out pretty quick. And so the results that you start to see off of it tend to fall off very fast. Where when we look at a movement like a deadlift, you will continue to see progress in that movement for very long periods of time because it's such a skill-based movement.
You'll reap benefits from all these movements we're about to go over for in fact, forever. I do all these basic movements, and I've been working out for decades, right? All right, so the next fundamental kind of foundational movement would be just squatting.
Got to be a squat.
Yeah, just squatting down and coming back up.
And there's lots
So many variations to it,
exactly.
too.
I was just going to say that there's because there's squatting, just like deadlifting, is another one of those movements that people tend to get freaked out about right away. Or I have a bad back, I can't do it. Or oh, it's really challenging my knees. All these reasons. There's lots of modifications that you can do to get somebody ready for that. Yes, I've had many clients that hired me and we could not go do a barbell loaded squat right out the gate.
I think most clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Most clients didn't start that way. Now, my goal always is to get them to that point, but we may spend months, even years sometimes, doing modifications of the squat to get there. So just because you may not be able to perform a back-loaded squat right now, or it seems really intimidating or daunting to start at, doesn't mean that we don't start in the direction to get there, because again, it is extremely fundamental movement that everybody should be able to do.
Yeah, and your body weight oftentimes provides plenty of resistance when you first get started. Mm-hmm. So like if I took somebody who is brand new, hasn't worked out for a long time, brand new to the gym or whatever, and I'm watching them and I'm having them try and do a squat, and I notice even a body weight squat is difficult. They can't do a full squat. Their heels come up off the floor or knees are moving in ways that they shouldn't. And I say, okay, we can't even do a body weight squat properly. I'm going to modify that, and I'll take them to I'll bring them over to a bench or a chair. You can do this at home, and just practice slowly sitting down and standing up.
Yep.
Congratulations, you are doing squats with the resistance, and you're going to reap the benefits of that. Now you will progress past that pretty quickly, most people, and then you can start changing it to without having to sit down. Now you're just squatting in air. That's more difficult.
Then you can guide it better by using the stability ball with the wall, so you get your angles correct. There's a whole progression to this. That's the beautiful part about a squat is like you can just continually improve this based off of like, you know, where you're at. Like I could take that, now I could add one little tool. I could add some dumbbells, and now I'm adding resistance to that same squat. It's a totally different exercise.
Oh, and you can regress it all the way to something very, very basic, like just getting up out of a chair or using a stability ball against the wall. And there's lots of progressions to that.
Now, the muscle that you'll activate with a squat, most of it's in the lower body, but it is one of the best lower body exercises you could do. It works on the hamstrings, the quads, the glutes, and even to a smaller degree, the calves. So it's a full lower body exercise that is really good at getting your body to get stronger and build more muscle. Which is great, right? Because we want a faster metabolism. Squats are always there, and they tend to always be there. Again, I squat still till this day, and I still reap benefits from it.
And I can't help but think of, one of the common things that you hear when people start to get to advanced age is they fall and they break their hip.
Oh yeah.
I right away,
like a death sentence.
Right away when I hear that, I know for a fact that person was not squatting as they aged. If you would have been squatting, that person would have been protected from something like that. So you think of the things that are extremely important long term. Maybe right now in your 40s or 50s, you don't think about it quite yet. But as you start getting up 60, 70, 80 years old, and you have eliminated squatting out of your daily routine for decades,
it's gone.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you're going to get a lot of information like across the internet from even doctors, where once you start getting to the places where you're in pain, they're going to tell you to avoid that movement.
Right.
Instead of strengthening, ways to be able to protect your joints and your back and your hips. And you should be thinking proactively, how can I prevent this pain? How can I get stronger because I feel like I'm not getting that connection? I'm feeling pain.
Oh, years ago, a surgeon hired me. My studio, I used to own a personal training studio, and it used to be next to a hospital. And a surgeon, this woman who ended up becoming a very, very good friend of mine, hired me to train her. And when I did my intake with her, she told me all of her, and I asked her, what do you have areas of pain on your body? What do you need to avoid? And she's a doctor. She was a very successful surgeon. And she says, "Oh, I can't squat or lunge or anything like that because it's not good for my knees. My knees hurt, and so I need to avoid those things." And so I said, "Okay." And I knew, I don't want to argue with her and debate with her. She's very intelligent, and it just wouldn't come across right. So I gave it some time, but little by little, I convinced her to start doing some of these exercises. Again, we did them appropriately and properly. So I applied them properly. Within 6 months, this woman was doing full body weight squats, full lunges, and her knee pain was gone. It wasn't there anymore. She no longer had knee pain anymore, and she was blown away. And she understood at that point that, the chronic pain that we get oftentimes comes from inactivity, not from, I hurt myself. There's a difference now. Now, if you hurt yourself and you twisted your knee or you tore a ligament, you probably shouldn't squat. But if your knees bother you just because of inactivity, you want to find out why you can't squat and fix that, or regress your squat to the point where you can squat so that your knees don't hurt. And then what you'll find is as you get stronger, more and more squat variations will open up. You brought up the physio ball squat. I think it was you, Justin.
Yeah.
Where you put a physio ball, and a physio ball is for those of you listening who don't know what that is, it's it looks like the big beach ball. It's the big balls that people sit on and squat on, and they're in gyms. They got real popular about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You put one up against the wall, you put your lower back against the ball, step away from the wall, now you're kind of leaning against it, and then you squat down, so you're rolling the ball against the floor with your hips pointing straight down. It takes a lot of the mobility and movement out of the squat, makes it easier for a lot of people. And you may find that if normal squats bother you, those don't. Practice that version of squats until you get really good at those, maybe add a little resistance to them at some point, then move to the other versions of squats like your freestanding squat and maybe freestanding squat with resistance and see what happens. Oftentimes, most times, it's the remedy to a lot of people's problems.
A lot of people don't understand why chronic pain is caused by the inability to do movements like the squat. And I share on the show a lot my own that you'll lose it, and then if you still try and ask the body to do it after you've lost it, then other parts of the body overcompensate and take over, and that's where a lot of this chronic pain comes from.
Joints have a way of moving that's optimal, and then every other way that is not optimal is suboptimal. So, so if you're weak and you're not moving properly, it's like that sliding glass door. The track is grinding up, and you are causing problems because of your immobility. And it's not the movement that's causing the problem directly.
Cringe when I hear somebody tell me that they don't do a movement because they have chronic pain, because that's your signal that you need to work and figure something out. That doesn't mean that you should just push through the pain and keep doing the movement because you hurt, but it's your body's sign that something's not tracking properly. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's fix the track. Let's get to a point where we can, and it will get back to sliding versus, oh, I can't do that anymore because it bothers me. It hurts.
Yeah, this is my new standard.
Totally. And that's why we're giving you, the listener, basic movements, and we're naming exercises around these movements. But there's a lot of varieties and versions of exercises that mimic picking something up off the ground. You could do it without any weight. You could just practice. You could do it with dumbbells. You could do it with dumbbells at your sides. Squatting, it could be using the physio ball or sitting down, standing up. These are all versions of squatting, and there are more advanced versions. The more advanced version of a squat would be a back squat with a barbell on your back. The more advanced version of picking up something off the ground would be like a barbell deadlift or a trap bar deadlift, for example. Let's move to another basic human movement: pressing. Pushing things away or pushing things up above your head. That's a very basic human movement that I don't, especially pushing straight up over your head, people don't tend to practice very often.
Oh yeah, and it's pretty hilarious. We've brought up this example many times of where I've actually seen like beginning clients where if I need to take this object and put it on a higher shelf, just watch somebody do that doesn't train and see what happens with their mechanics. A lot of times they're going to bring their heels up. They're going to lift everything up to be able to get up there because their body doesn't know any different other than we just need to get this thing up there. So I'm going to get up on my tippy toes to get there.
Yeah, pressing strengthens the pushing muscles of your upper body, your shoulders, your triceps, your chest, if you're pushing, in front of you. If you're pushing overhead, there's back muscles that are very involved to stabilize your shoulder blades, because the shoulder, when you're pressing up over your head, the shoulder blades are very involved in stabilizing the shoulder and in the movement. So there's muscles there that strengthen. I didn't realize that, by the way, as an early trainer, just how much the mid-back is involved in being able to push things overhead. I always thought my clients, when they had trouble, like if you push something straight up over your head and you have issue with fully extending your arm straight up without having to lean back and look up at your hand, you can push it up, your arm is next to your ear. If you can't do that, oftentimes it's a weakness in your mid-back.
Right.
I didn't realize that, and took me a long time to figure
you're
that
not
out.
going to get as high because you have to get that close to your head in order to extend fully. So yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and to be able to stabilize at that position is like, that's do or die. Like at that point, like you're going to have a back problem if you don't have that properly figured out.
Yeah. Now, good exercises for pressing: push-ups. A lot of variety in versions of push-ups. You could do traditional off your feet push-ups. You can go on your knees. You could elevate your body to make it easier. So you could do a push-up on a countertop. You can even do push-ups on the wall. I used to do this with my beginner clients who were a little more in advanced age, where they had to start with something real easy. And then have them step away from the wall, put their hands on the wall, do a push-up.
My one and only favorite use of the Smith machine.
To do push-ups.
Push up on top of the bar.
And honestly, most people should start in a regress position like that, even if they can do a normal push-up, because since this whole episode is about getting started and how to start, form always trumps weight and
reps.
Yes. And reps when you first start. would always, I'd have a client and I'd show them like a push up, for example. And I would know right away when I get them down to do the first couple, and I would know, oh, okay, I'm going to regress them down to their knees. Not because they couldn't do 10 push-ups. They could do 10 push-ups, but the 10 push-ups they were doing, their mechanics were terrible. And so I would, hey, let's bring it to your knees so I could really slow you down and concentrate on how I want you to do this push-up before we progress you to go do it. Now, I know you can do them. You can just muscle them out, but when you're first starting all of these movements that we're talking about, I'm always going to start clients way lighter than they could technically do. I mean, and that's I think a common mistake that we should address when people first get started. For some reason, and for sure, especially my guys, we want to just get to the place where we're lifting the most weight that our body can. The problem with that is the body's always going to choose the easiest path. And sometimes that means all these other muscles jumping in and helping, and you don't work on the proper mechanics. Where I would much rather, when I start a client off, start them off with 50% of the load that they could technically squat or deadlift or push, and really stress the mechanics of it and slowing down and making sure your form and technique.
I used to start clients off with a broomstick to push overhead. So they're literally using a broomstick and pressing that up, straight up above their head, but we're focusing on full extension, right? Arms totally straight, nice tall posture, not overarching the lower back. So they're not feeling like there's too much, tension in the lower back. They're bracing their core. They're looking straight ahead. Then they come back down, and they do reps with that, and that works. That builds strength and muscle. So I'm glad you made that point. What about pulling? Pulling things. That's a very basic human movement.
And maybe one of the most important.
Today especially.
Yeah, when I use, in fact, a lot of times I would hold off on some of the pushing movements because it's something that we do most of the time, and I would put more focus and emphasis on the pulling type of movements. Back to the point that we were making with the posterior chain, the muscles in the back are just neglected,
right?
And they're as equally important as the ones in the front.
And to keep everything in track and balanced, you have to really consider that and really incorporate the posterior chain and these other parts, even the rear delts and such, to be able to maintain that proper tracking position in your joint.
That's right. Now, pulling movements are any kind of rowing movement or pulling down movement. You could do this with bands. You could do this with dumbbells. You could use a physio ball to help you with your dumbbell rows, for example. Focus on pulling the weight up, sticking your chest out, pulling the shoulder blade back across your back. It's like you're trying to strengthen good posture when you're doing these pulling movements. What are the muscles you're working? You're working the muscles of the hands, the biceps, and the back. And let me tell you something. A nice, well-developed back really has a massive impact on your overall aesthetic in terms of how healthy and fit you look. You can have people with terrible back development and great everything else development, and they just don't look right. You can tell something doesn't look right with the way they're moving. Having someone with a real strong back and good posture, it makes everything else look better. So if you're trying to work out to look better, which is everybody, work on the pulling movements. They make a big difference.
We're all as humans closing in. Right, I mean that's just because
caving forward.
Yeah, because everything we do, your day-to-day stuff, from driving, riding, listening,
you're slowly turning into a shrimp.
We are. I mean, you really and I used to do this when I'd sell personal training, as I would I'd stand up all right in like the anatomical position with good posture. And then I would show somebody like, this is what we look like when we were, young in our teens and vibrant and playing sports and doing things. And then we get to 20 and then 30 and then 40 and then 50. And I just keep like showing myself rounding over until I was, impersonating a, 70 or 80-year-old in a walker. And I'm like, that's just the natural progression if you don't do anything to counter that. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things that you can do to counter yourself from moving into that closed position to the rounded back on a walker is the posterior chain, is like a rowing type of exercise. This is also why I think there is a big surge in population with like Orange Theory. I think one of the things, I don't even know if they knew that this is part of the formula. I think that hit it out of the park for them is by incorporating rowing, and rowing's taking off right now. I mean, it's been around forever. But part of why I think it's becoming so popular right now is because of the side benefits that people are getting, and they may not even realize that why they're feeling so good, but because it's such a neglected thing for the average person. Now you've got these droves of people coming through these classes doing all this rowing. They're like, man, I feel great, I feel better. And a lot of it probably is because they're waking up that posterior chain and getting into a rowing movement that most people just completely neglect.
Totally true. Another basic movement, rotating. Your body's ability to twist and rotate.
Maybe one of the most overlooked
It's
too.
a big one.
It's an important movement that you should work on and strengthen just so it doesn't go away. What you don't want is you don't want to have well-developed body and muscles and strength that can't rotate, because that's like a huge injury waiting to happen. And rotational exercises are easy. They could be as easy as lizard with rotation, which is a mobility movement. Or you could do, and you can find all these on our YouTube channel, Mind Pump TV. You could do a twisting crunch. You could use a band, hold it out in front of you, and twist and rotate your body. Some of the pulling movements and pressing movements that you do, if you do them one-handed, can strengthen a little bit of that rotation. So like if I do a dumbbell row with one hand, I can incorporate a little rotation at the top.
Right, or overhead press. You just want to add a little bit more rotation with the wrist and the elbow as you're pressing it up. There's
Totally.
ways you can incorporate it within what you're already doing that will help to enhance it even more.
Totally. And then a lunge. I'll finish it off by saying a lunge. And that's just when your legs, one leg is in front, one leg is in back, and you're squatting. So it's similar to a squat, but the difference is one leg is stabilizing behind you, one leg is stabilizing in front of you.
And arguably the most functional thing that we can do as humans.
Totally.
Right?
Because you walk.
Right.
That's
because
what makes us
It
human.
emulates everyday life.
Right.
yes,
So
yes.
probably one of the most important things that we could do when you think of overall.
Right. So we just listed, let's see, picking things up, squatting, pressing, pulling, rotating, and lunging. That's 6 movements, 6 basic human movements. Guess what? Guess what you got to do? Pick an exercise for each of those. That's it. You're done.
Yep.
There's your resistance training workout right there. No joke. Now, you're not going to be bodybuilding. You're not going to be a power lifter doing that, but you are going to reap all of the general benefits of resistance training. And it's a fantastic place to start. And you will see phenomenal results by just focusing on those 6 things. And you don't even have to focus on all 6 of them every time you work out. If you're in the gym 2 or 3 days a week, you can pick 3 of them and do those things. And Adam, you touched on something earlier